Jide and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toh, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there's nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I ask all of you representatives of our people to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday beginning at 8 p.m. on ELBC Radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies around the country. The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipma, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts.
Good evening. Welcome to the microphone. Be a bit of adjustment here. Let me take this moment to welcome all of you to another edition of Nightline Liberia on ELBC 99.9 FM and other frequencies across the country. A primetime talk show loaded with facts and not fiction. I will also take a moment to welcome all of you who are watching and listening to this national platform, Nightline Liberia. Folks, tonight is just another edition. Of course, it will be my second time on ELBC trying to do this thing since, of course, I arrived in the Republic of Liberia. In the voice of our president, His Excellency Joseph Ibabuakait, we wrote that along the way. But for now, I take a quote from one of America's best president. In the voice of that president, he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." In the voice of our president, His Excellency Joseph Ibabuakait, he goes with this: think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. On behalf of the team, I want to take this moment to welcome all of you to another edition of Nightline Liberia.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipmau, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest. The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Kipmau, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zomatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toole, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country.
Hi, folks. I want to welcome you to another edition of Nightline Liberia. My name is, of course, D. Floflomo II. This is an edition that is going to be a tough talking one. I call this what we call a Pabido conversation. So, folks, at this moment, I want to take a few minutes of our time to welcome some of our viewers online at this particular time of a show here. We got Charles B. Johnson is watching. Say good evening as well to us. Charles, good evening to you. Kindly share the show. It's my pleasure to welcome you. So let's bring out on the screen our panelists for the night, those who that have joined us at this juncture. So tonight we have a couple of talking points or discussions that we will be bringing to the national table. While we discuss and talk about our country, it is very important for all of us to understand as a nation, of course, which we will be discussing tomorrow, our country will be turning 177 years beginning on Friday. Of course, that topic will be discussed tomorrow. There's a whole lot being taken on there. We visited the site where the occasions at the pavilion will be taking place. Of course, we'll bring that as a talking point tomorrow to all of you in Radio Land and also on social media. But at this moment, let me welcome some of our panelists here. Let's take it strictly to the liberal there, Samson Brown Toole.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
Samson Brown Toole.
Yes, I can hear you. I hope I'm audible. And I will say good evening to the panelists themselves.
Good evening. I can hear you. Good evening. And thanks for showing us La Pabido conversation.
I'm ready for I'm ready.
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
No, I just want to say
go ahead. But you know, you don't have snow in your state anymore any longer. And I like your background, by the way. It's fascinating to see, breaks, all the pictures you got in back, and not forgetting the national flag of the Republic of Liberia, red, white, and blue, always on your right hand side.
Exactly.
Why you put it? You always got this flag on your right hand side. I know you have something fascinating about this. Is our national color.
When we had the real flag burial yesterday, I wanted to make sure that he understood my position. I don't want to get arrested when I come to Liberia. Somebody impersonating as some kind of a big shot. I'm not a big shot. I'm just here doing my job, but I love the flag. And this is what I do on a very serious note. And sometimes, and Madam Kotu can attest to it, when we have our show and I started talking about the president and people try to question me, then I wrap myself around the flag. That way they stay away from me. Then I wrap myself around the flag. That way they stay away from me.
That's a great way to kind of take cover. You're taking cover at that moment. So, folks, you can watch this edition of Nightline Liberia via the social media. That's YouTube, Twitter, and of course Facebook. Those are the places. If you have the time, you can just go, and don't forget, we are on Liberia National TV. That's what we call ERBC here. Again, we will take the ride strictly to the only female. I know we got two females tonight, of course, but she is many miles away. Let me bring on Markoto Jara Blayan. What do you pronounce her last name? Blayan. You can meet her. No, you can do that. Go in the right hand corner. Self, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. Can you get me?
Makoto, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Hello, Jara.
I'm hearing you. Can you
Okay. Yes. Good evening. Welcome to the show again. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, D-Flow. I'm glad to be here tonight. Good evening, D-Flow. I'm glad to be here tonight.
It's as usual, always nice to have you on, especially on the May week, the edition, of course, and then on the Friday. Let's welcome the Deputy Director for Administration, Thomas Gore. Thomas?
Hello, everyone. I'm here, and I'm glad to be with you guys again. I look forward to a fruitful discussion tonight as we discuss, the good of our country.
Thank you. Now I'll go on my right-hand side to bring another female, Fabienne, one of the voices, the best we have right here at the Nation's Pride, ERBC. Fabienne, welcome to the show.
Thank you, D-Flow.
It's always my pleasure to welcome you. Of course, Fabienne, you are one of the best that we have here when we talk about the Liberia Broadcasting System. So, folks, we will begin this discussion straight off the back. There are so many things about this country that I love so much about Liberia. I left this country. I traveled for more than 2 decades. During those years, I did not abandon our country. Some of us, we push cartoons in the United States. Every dime that we earn, we spread it into two, 50 in the United States and then 50 in Liberia. But there are a lot of things in our country that people have concerns about. The concerns continue to grow, and these concerns will continue to grow, especially when, of course, we have to deal with one particular issue that has to do with our national road system. If you travel around this country, from 2015 to 2015, 2017, 2023, I campaigned around this country. For 15, 17, I traveled with His Excellency now, our President of the Republic, Joseph Yema Boakai, around the country. When you travel in this country, there are places that you travel, you feel at ease, you feel pleased, you want to go back the next day. But there are some places that you want to reach, you cannot reach. The discussion continues to roll on. This has to do with our road network. The southeastern part of the country, from from Nimba County all the way to Riwaji, Grand Cru, all of the counties in the west and in the eastern part of western part of the country seems not to be benefiting when it comes to a good road network. So tonight I want to take you guys to the southeastern part. We'll go to Lofa County, where I grew up. Grew up in a town called Zuluwu, is other district. Lofa County, the road from Bon County to Lofa is not too much of a talking point, but the conversation is about the southeastern and other parts of the country. That has to do with our network. The president agenda, the arrest agenda, one of the payrolls talks about the road network of this country. Road. The testimony sent His Excellency Joseph Yimabwakai took over the matter authority of this country. The testimonies are coming in. They continue to come in. ERBC has now gone in the southeastern part, yet to go to Lofa County to assess the development of our road system. But we continue to see people talking about what this government is doing when it comes to the issue of roads. Testimony are all over the place. So let's go to the Liberia. Liberia, you come from Tow Town, which is between Liberia and the Ivory Coast. Am I correct, Liberia?
No. We are like
the Liberia. Am I correct? You are from Tow Town.
Yes, I am from Tow Town.
You are
in Liberia. Yes, I am from Tow Town.
You are from Tow Town. Here we are talking about in the history of our country, a country that is going to be turning will be 177 years. The testimony of the southeastern part that is coming in less than 5 months of the administration of His Excellency Joseph Yimabwakai cannot be matched compared to any leader of this country. What can you tell us when it comes to this issue?
Thank you, D-Flo. And once again, thank you guys for having us again tonight. And I'm going to be speaking strictly from an engineering perspective, a roadway engineer here in the state of California, where I help to design and even do some construction of these national highway here in the United States, because we have Highway 80, we got Highway 5, we have Highway 99 that goes through the Sacramento area. But I work all over the District 3, which comprises of Marysville, and I also do a lot of work over in District 1, Eureka, which we just got to build, finish the build of the design and building of the bridge over there, Smith River Bridge, and we're now on another design over in Eureka. But that's besides the point. So I won't be speaking from a perspective of an engineer, a roadway engineer to be specific. You know, sometimes when people say, I will do, you better listen. It is this President Waka, who was the very first person, as far as I'm concerned, during the 2017 debate, where he stated, roll. Very determined. And once he became successful in obtaining the state power, he decided to do this road issue. That people were making fun of it. When he said no car gonna get stuck in 100 days, people were making fun of it. But those of us that are a little bit logical and as engineer, so I turned it around to those who were making fun of it. In 100-day time, it's still gonna be dry CC. What kind of car that can get stuck in the dry CC? And that's how we deal with those people that try to come out here and make fun of these serious issues. Now, D-Flo, I have watched some of the processes involved in trying to rehabilitate the road. The road are now new road, they are now new alignment, and so it's not being so say we are constructing the road. They are rehabilitating the roads. In other words, the roads are there already. They're not changing their alignment. They're not making the road wider. They're just going to put it back to what it was, but make it beautiful and bring it up to standard. So I've been watching. But one of the things that I noticed, especially in the Southeast, because I traveled from Monrovia one time and went all the way to Fishtown. There was a project that I was also supposed to have been on, but that's a different story. So I traveled all the way to Fishtown during rainy season. And at some point in our travel, our truck will go on pretty much the entire hood of the truck will be underwater. And sometimes the young man would tell us to get out while he goes through. So I know that road very well. In fact, I have a video from Monrovia all the way to Fishtown back to Monrovia. I have a video of that. the entire land. So I do know that road. But what I do see, the like of Prince Tamba, another little young man, very smart, intelligent young man who I consider like a little brother. He's the technical director of public work, and he's very good at that. He has another young man that is working with whose name I'm not going to call right now. But those that are working for public work, the way they did the road construction, I will just give you a little insight here. So when you're driving on the road, you will know that this is something that is durable. What they did was, if you've been driving on the road before, most of the road in the middle of it, they have a ditch, they have a gutter, where when the water goes on the side of the road, has nowhere to go, it come back in the middle of the road, and they have gutters in the middle of the road. So when you're driving, you try to, our country people say dodge, but you try to miss this gutter by going that way and this way. So what they did was, not only did they grade the road, but they lifted the road. The profile of the road was lifted so that you will have a smooth transition from the water, which is causing the problem, to be able to go sheet flow down to the gutter. So they were able to provide the gutters for the water to go down through the profile of the road and go to the nearest drainage system. So when you have that kinds of system that I've seen these brothers and sisters are put in place, the roads are going to be durable. Now, I'm not saying within the next 2-3 years, you're not going to have issue. That's not what I'm saying. But right now, then the road itself is built on what many Liberians know, because we use either potter and it's clay. So the road is built on clay. And clay is impermeable. You can't just pour water and water go through the clay. So you're going to have to, when they build that, clay is very stable. So when they build it on that, with all of the materials that I've seen those people put on, it's a durable road. And I want to say thanks to my own little brother, Prince Tamba, who has done a wonderful job with his group of people as engineer of the Republic of Liberia. Wonderful job with his group of people as engineer of the Republic of Liberia.
Thank you, the liberal there. Thomas, I come to you. Today is July 24th. We are just 2 months, a couple of days away. We will be entering into the dry season. We see the issue of roads in this country. It looks like the doctor has found the medicine, have diagnosed this case. He diagnosed the case before he was elected as president. He promised the Liberian people that in my first 100 days, I promise you, no vehicle will get stuck in the mud. Some people talk because for them, they spent 6 years and they were having party around here. They were chilling. They were having good time. They were traveling. They were making music. They were doing all kinds of things. They called it as a bio medicine. The old man was just taking a boko, and he got it right. Thomas, you're safe.
Well, I think you've said a lot. Like my senior brother also stated. You've said a lot. I think that this is a major achievement for the Boakai Kun administration. Infrastructure development is one of the most visible and impactful way, an administration can improve the daily lives of its citizens. In Liberia, it's not only going to help to make travel easier, it's also going to have economic impact. Given that we have a lot of farms around the country, people have all these agricultural produce that they have been having difficulty with in terms of transporting them from one location to another. Now we're going to realize this is no longer going to be a problem for those areas. And one will only say that if the government can continue to pursue this path, it will help a lot. If this is spread across the country, that is like we are seeing now, gradually on the Lofa Highway as well, and other parts of the country. If the entire country is accessible, it's not only going to boost mobility, but it's going to actually help to boost the economy. And with an with a boost in the economy, the local economy, we will also begin to see a lot of things. So even for example, the agriculture. In the agriculture area, we all know that counties like Lofa have, is one of the bread baskets in the country. If the rural in those areas are, accessible, I'm very sure that you will have a lot of food around here, and that could also compete with commodities like the rice that is being imported. If you have a lot of these food and other substitutes, food substitutes coming from the hinterland, or the rural areas, is going to seriously compete with the importation of rice, and I think that will also pressure the price of rice. But yeah, that's my initial input on this issue.
Thank you, Thomas Gordon. Let's now turn it microphone to Fabien. Fabien, goods and services, quick impact. Traveling from Monrovia, straight to Grangida, to Town, to Zredru, going to Maryland, Sando, Grand Cru, the entire Southeastern. I listened to a video from a senator, Zoe Penno, praising this administration. The testimonies are all over the place. Is this what we call a leadership experience, and as somebody who has the know-how, and somebody who took his time and waited for his moment to shine?
I think that's an expression of good leadership. Remember, the Zvedru and Tapita highways have been non-pliable since the days or the departure of Omil. Like for the Southeast, it has been very, very bad. I'm from the Southeast.
What part? If you want to say.
I'm from Harper of my station. Yeah. Like
Maryland, by the way.
You visited Maryland before?
Gave me free ride to go to Maryland in 2017. Free ride.
Okay. And you know the distance covering from Monrovia, Montserrat to Maryland.
Absolutely.
That road was non-pliable. I would term that as being non-pliable.
Mm-hmm.
You had people taking the goods by way of Ivory Coast and to enter Maryland through the Kavala and Tabu area to enter Maryland County. Imagine years back, if you tried coming to Monrovia or going to Ganta or Zvedru by way of Maryland, it's going to take you weeks, if possible months, and sleeping on the road. But because this president had roads as one of his agenda, in the arrest agenda, and he said that within 100 days, and his statement alone surprised a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Couple with the equipment that we have now.
Totally impossible.
Yeah, it was impossible.
It has never happened.
So that's what people were thinking about. But to have a sitting senator who's from the other side to come up just within a couple of months to praise the government and say, let's call spade a spade.
Yes.
And he even gave an example of leaving from here to Zvedru and coming back within 7 to 9 hours. I think it's rewarding, is commendable for this government, especially as it relates to road. And so others may think that why did the president choose to go maybe from the Southeast or other counties and not Montserrat, where we also have bad roads within?
Yes.
But I think the most dangerous...
The part of a segment of the country that did not give him more votes. But he's like, you know what? This is about Liberia.
Sure.
It's a national issue. So I get to tackle wherever I find a problem.
Sure. And exactly that's what he did. And so being that he said that within 100 days and he was able to deliver those deliverables within his arrest agenda, I think he will go further, especially with priorities being named within this arrest agenda.
Thank you, Fabien. Now let's welcome. Before I go to this Lofa County professor, Cesar Guerra, let me go to another Lofa County high-profile social media person, Makoto Jara. Makoto Jara. I will just call you Jara, please, Makoto, because I grew up in Lofa County in the Zaza belt, not in the Vayama belt. So most of the names in Zaza, in the Vayama belt, a little bit difficult for me. But I want to bring you to the same discussion, the same topic, the same station, the frequency, the same dial. Makoto. This is something that has never happened in our country, for a man to promise, a leader to say, I can do this. Because we have seen that so many leaders have come in this country promising that I can build a road anytime, I can do this, I can do this. This is the first of its kind that somebody will say, this is possible, and get it done.
Yeah, thank you,
That's for you.
Yes, I'm not mute.
Yeah.
Are you getting? I'm not clear now. Yes, I'm not mute. Okay, thank you so much, and hi to my fellow panelists and the people of Liberia and those who are watching at this time. Like you rightly said, and I heard from Mr. Todd, and my sister Fabric. I just add on what they have been discussing. We know that road leads to a lot of things, and especially when it comes to a country. What road does, good road does, is it encourage, good development into the country. And next thing, it promotes, financial capability of a country. And it also health-wise, where I am president, it help to create an able environment for those that are sick, where they can commute easily, where they can be transferred. Like in most cases, we have like cases where they have patients from one area, they have to be transferred to a transferred, hospitals and things. And with good roads, we kind of reduce ailment and also reduce mortality that we know of. And those are some of the major things. And for me, what it does is it will boom the economy. What will happen is the commodities that will be in those areas that is needed in other areas, it will be accessible to people to get there easily, and transfer there into area where they will have the economic boom. Because what had been a major problem with some of our people, they have the commodity but had to be transferred to another area have been the problem. Having the road accessible, people will be able to get to those areas and get the commodity where they can have their, money out of their products and be able to, have like, normally you will see like season like this coming, the 26th season. People will have their crops and things, their products, and they will want to sell it to have their, the season enjoyable. So that's one of the things that will actually boom people Christmas, 26th, and so forth. And what happened, like Mr. Toh have said, when I heard about roads and routine, what they were saying so difficult to do, we know from the past time for some who have little knowledge, like my father, when he came to Monrovia, according to the story he told me, it was because they had to make the road, to build the road at the time. He was opportune to work with the people that they had a commute system that they go and fix the road. And they have like time, every town has their own season. Like they will say this time, let's work on the road and connect the road. And when they were doing that, it made a lot of people, that was like some way of encouraging people to promote their own community. Because if you didn't do your community and the road hits your town, then it means you are responsible. The government will hold you responsible. So people have a way of cleaning their town and make sure that, their area is clean and connecting to the next town. I think with those things, that's another way of making the road. And then I see the road is well done. Not, we know we say it's not like quota, but if the people in their various communities can maintain it as it is and help the public work employees are working in a community, I think they will maintain the road. Because it's not just only building road. People say, oh, this time these things were not done. Sometimes it is done, but the maintenance problem is what we have. And what I have seen with this government, they have put in money for the maintenance of this road for 2 years. And you know, we've been hearing the people saying the money have been consumed, but they are not educated on the amount that have been absorbed and the balance that is there to be there to maintain the road on the balance, the remaining 2 years that is there to be maintained until the road can be quota, like you guys say. I will not know your terminology, this is the public work, but I think that's what is going on. But so far, I want to commend this president because he said it. And that's why for me, I actually promoted, as you know, we work on this thing. We were the press team and we were educating people because we know what this man stands for, this president that we have. And having an experienced person can be, they will know where to start from as compared to somebody who is inexperienced. They will be trying to, on a try error method, but he knows where exactly the problem is. And he starts from where the problem is and just go on and keep on. But for now, I want to say I stop here for now and to see how we can go on with other topics on that road issue. And to see how we can go on.
Thank you. Thank you there. Cesar, let me come to you. I adopted Zulu Town, where right in Southern District. Zulu gave me everything. It was in Zulu Town I learned how to cut panda. I learned how to fishing. I learned how to hunt. I learned how to set trap. I did everything in Zulu Town. You and I used to travel from Monrovia to Zulu Town. But in less than no time after the Civil War, that happened to change. Now that we can see people coming, the last video I saw, it was from Koda Home. These people were coming from Bar Home and they went live to talk and praise His Excellency Joseph Yima Boakai for giving them the most important thing, accessibility to come to Monrovia. What's your take on the issue of Lofa County Road or the roads in around the country?
Well, thank you for having me on, and hello to my fellow panelists. You're right. We're both from Zulu.
Well, thank you for having me on, and hello to my fellow panelists.
I think I'm hearing myself, so there was somebody's mic is open. We are both from Zulu, where we both live in Zulu. So I remember during my formative days, when school closed in December, we would all go down to Lofa County, and we would stay there to help with the farms and everything. And the roads back then were pliable. And the major reason was because we had these hubs, these localized, decentralized public work hubs that were held in these rural localities. So Galu folks had some, and they used to use to grade the roads, and the Zaza area has some. And we remember right after the war, before you rightfully spoke to that, when it became very impossible to go to Lofa County during the rainy season, right? Because the roads were cut in so many places. Those of you that have followed the Lofa Highway, right before getting to Balatua, right down in my point here, the road would be very, very bad. And then you know what I'm talking about. And when you leave from there and you come down to the Rehe area there, Lofa area there, the road is very bad. I want to Gangolatan area. And then when you leave from there, you go after Salaye, the road is also cut. And there were so many places that the road just became cut because we didn't have that system of having a localized, decentralized maintenance hub where our people used to work. So I think, Koto spoke to the issues of why it's important to have road network connectivity. And improve road network infrastructure enables the connectivity, right, and safe mobility that links producers to the markets. Quite too often, when our people make their farms and they plant their produce, it is by the time they get it to the market and to get it to Monrovia or to Banga, most times it's already damaged. And so, an improved network of roads links producers to the markets, which kind of empowers the economy, right? And it also links workers to jobs, because when you have jobs and people can't get there, it's difficult. So once you build good road networks, you have a lot of employers will move further away from Monrovia, will move further away from congested city sites, and folks will still be able to access those jobs, right? The other piece is it also links students to school. Man, I remember a lot of our people had to leave Zolowo to go live in Zaza to stay there to go to school, or to go live in Salaye and live there to go to school. And then they only went on the farms during the weekend. And what that does is that it affects the production on the farm. And if we keep saying Lofa County is the breadbasket, and you take everybody from there and they have to go to the cities to go to schools, then it affects the production, right? So having a good road network connects students to school. Beyond that, even in the towns that are closer by, if the roads are bad and kids have to walk through muds and they have to walk 2, 3, 4 miles, that reduces the appetite for somebody to want to go to school. And as an educator, I can speak to that. Even here in America, a child who lives just a distance away where they don't qualify for public school transportation and their parents have to take them. Giflo, you know, in Minnesota, when it snows, most parents don't want to get out and carry their children. And the place is just too far for the child to walk in the snow. And so if it affects us here in the U.S. that much, it affects us even more in Liberia there greatly. And I think Otto spoke to this, the issue of people being sick. For those of us who live in rural places a lot of the time, we've seen our people, our sick, got carried in hammocks on people's shoulders and on people's back. I'm not a medical practitioner, but I pretty much think that there are some medical condition that you have that people don't want you to be carried that way, that it might affect, it might traumatize you, it might deal with, it might lead to a lot of other stuff, right? But that's how we carry our people. Because of the lack of road connectivity. So an improved road connectivity also helps our healthcare system, and I think it's an overall plus for any country. So I can see why any one Liberian will be upset at having an improved road connectivity, because it affects everybody and it benefits everybody. It affects everybody and it benefits everybody.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies just joining us. Welcome to Nightline Liberia, right here on ELBC, the nation's pride. Folks, we're going to take the next one, which is part of our talking points tonight, one of the questions. So we're going to put aside the issue of roads, because we can come back another day and discuss this, because testimonies are still coming in. People are praising His Excellency just I can remember growing up in Lofa County. We have to walk every Sunday to go back to Salaye. Every Friday walk to go back to Zero. That was just a situation there. So, but folks, let me take you up to the next question that we have here. And that has to do with the issue of our president, the talk and do of Liberia, having a video tete-a-tete conversation with the world richest, one of the world richest man. You know, sometimes people say, I have friends that boast about it. I used to do this. I used to do that. I play in this country. I did that. It did not materialize. His Excellency did not play soccer. He's a politician. And he's a go-getter person. So he had a few days ago, they posted on the page of the the post of the executive mansion, this video, this photo of he having a conversation with the world richest man, Elon Musk. You know, the other side said, oh, that they lying, these people that they fake, these people that don't know what, because that's what they did for 6 years. What does this mean when you, a leader of your country, interacts with somebody like that, the world richest man, the liberal? Let me hear your side. The liberal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. I will try to stay away from that question.
Thank you.
As a liberal, either Max and myself were not quite on the same floor. We're not quite on the same boat. And I will try my best to stay away from either Max. He's a conservative, I'm a liberal, and we don't see eye to eye, then I'm not going to hide it. So I'm not going to speak to that. I know the ability.
Right? This is my first time seeing a liberal run away from something. This is my first time seeing it.
Let me go back to the area that I'm a little bit comfortable with. That is the road. On a very serious note, I think we're all here. We see the road, the ability for people to ride on a good road. But let's go from my perspective. Let's go one more step than that. The president has done his job. The president has asked these people to build a road. He set the policy, and there are those who are supposed to implement that policy. I give you an example. The Dole Community Road, when they were building it, no one in Liberia knew about Dole Community Road until except for the people that live there. But guess what? Your own director, Young Yifakon, got hold of Dole Community Road and started telling the Liberian what the Dole Community Road was, what they were going to do for the people. And the entire country gravitated towards that. What am I saying this? Yesterday we have the police director here, and I brought this question up, and I'm going to say that I'm not going to do it in a question, it's just going to be a statement. You're going to have the public work ministry and the minister and the minister of transport and the police director to work in hand. Because if you know what a Venn diagram is, there's an area, they are working activity, there's an area where they intersect. And if they are not talking to one another, they're going to have to duplicate. And you want to avoid that. So you want them to find out where the intersect is. And they work in that area. For example, the road is finished building. What is the weight of the truck that this road going to be built? The public work minister, transport minister doesn't know the thickness of the road, why the road is thick. He doesn't know that. The police director doesn't know that. People in public work know why they get what they call structure section. Why they build it that thick. These people are going to have to provide that knowledge to the police director and his people and the transport minister. And then the police, they're going to set a rule to say, we want certain weight of truck to go on this road. Other than that, we're going to be back to where we are, where we started from. And that's a waste of resources. If these people are not able to work together, we're not going anywhere. President Baka, as I stated before, he's not an engineer. He's a policy maker. He set the goals for all of us. And those brothers and sisters that the president has invited, it is a privilege. It is not an entitlement to be a minister. It is a privilege. But when you get this position, you must produce. Even if you cannot produce, have the ability to be able to know what you don't know. Don't pretend to know when you know you don't know. That's what we get in problem. So I will hope that these brothers and sisters that are taxed to do this specifically in the road business, to be able to work, coordinate with each other and work together so that the police will function properly by enforcing the rule of the road. Other than that, we're going to have a very serious problem. But as far as the president connection, the president has so many connections. President Baka been around. President Baka, baby, he's been around for a very long time. He had connection all over. So people who don't believe it, that their business, that their money, that's not my problem. If they believe it or not, that's their problem. Let them deal with it. So Defro, and I will stay away from it because I'm a liberal, and whoever his name is, he's a conservative. So I'll try to stay away from that one. Conservative. So I'll try to stay away from that one.
Thank you for taking us to Bomb County to say that's their common name, because, Liberia as a nation, those who don't talk are the real actors. There are some that do the talking and the act. So His Excellency is one of those in this republic that does not believe in talking. He believes in action. So let's go to Sister Koto Jara Brian. My sister, I want to bring you to the discussion. We have seen where in this country, a few years ago, there was somebody on the world stage who people thought had this barrage of friends because he was there. He was in a, social. He was just all over the place. They thought that by him becoming president of Liberia, his soccer player was going to come to this country and open a mini factory or something for the country. That did not materialize. It did not work. It never hold. So here we see a man who relaxed, spent 12 years as vice president of the republic, listened to Ellen Johnson, saw some of her errors, capitalized on some of those things, and took some of those things as a learning point, as a curve, to grow and experience himself and to build onto them. Today, he is now our president. So a few days ago, he had a video conversation with the world's richest man, Elon Musk. On the other side, it was the debate for their, it's a lie because you know where it came from. So what do you have to say when your leader is connecting to people outside of your country Not just ordinary people, not people who just going to take a picture, but people who have the ability to deliver when they say, I will come to see your country.
All right, thank you.
That's your time, Uncle.
Yeah, thank you, Duflo.
All right, thank you.
That's what it sometimes it's like the saying goes that show me your friends and I will know who you are.
Sometimes it's like the
And
saying
in
goes
the
that
friendship
show me
too,
your
we have like
friends and I will know who you
acquaintance
are.
and maybe real friends that
In
you
the friendship too, we have
need.
like acquaintance and maybe real
I
friends.
I saw, in the past, like people have friends that did not know, the
I
importance
saw,
of their
in the
friends.
past, like people have
And
friends that
sometimes
did not
I get in
know
the
the
feedback.
importance
Yeah,
of their
so
friends.
I'm getting the feedback.
I get
Yeah, okay. You have friends that will come to your aid when they have this trust in you. And like what I'm seeing now is because the trust that they may have had in our president today, you see friends that are trusted are coming in. We had people, we had leaders who have friends that gave them donation and they took it as their personal belongings. But we see our president now taking this offer. What people may say, okay, it is not a good offer. It is some deed. Okay, if it is some other deed, when that time comes, we will still voice it up. And like I said, and we not, for me, I'm not one of those to see our president doing the wrong thing and I sit there and accommodate it and just don't speak about it. We will speak about it when it goes the wrong way. But for the fact that this friendship, was into a product that we all can benefit of, for me, I appreciate that. Okay, because he did not take it to say, okay, I put it into my personal, account or take it from my personal belongings, but he brought it to the people of Liberia. And there's a kind of president we want, a president who will have friends that will come and share the law for which he is the president for, and then contribute towards his law for his country. And for me, I don't want people going around to say this thing is not beneficial. What this should start doing now is try to learn how to ride some of this truck. Learn. If you haven't had any knowledge about this thing, for me, that's what I would advise people. Go and learn how to drive some of these things, and you might have the opportunity to use this thing. That would be a job opening opportunity for many of those are in Liberia now that are complaining about job. And I see some of us there right now, our people are complaining they want a job. And I try to talk to many of them. How qualified are you to get a job? That is the problem. We sit there, oh, we supported the president. We don't have job. And I used to say that when we were running a campaign, the time you're taking to be running a campaign, be getting yourself also prepared for a job. And you can't say that you gave it a job that you're not prepared for. And I see our people crying. So stop crying. Now use this opportunity to learn how to drive, to ride some of those things, or learn how to be a mechanic for some of those things that you will benefit. But I think it's a good idea that he's speaking to people. It is a matter of trust. I think they trust our president. That's why people are coming in. Billionaire will take the opportunity to come in. And I even saw that a vehicle generator will contribute. If they don't trust you, they won't come in your country to help you. Or people in your country will not contribute to your success. I think it is a good idea. And because we will put a better person in the position, people are trusting him to bring these things. Thank you.
people are trusting him to bring these things.
Thank you very much. Let's now go to Thomas Gore. Thomas, dividends of a friendship. There are some friendships that are just not worthy, not a waste of your time. But we are talking about with few weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, were the yellow machines, the earth moving equipments. A couple of them were transported from the Freeport to the Barclay Training Center, where ERBC, through the concurrency of our Director General, Eugene Lamifago, was able to carry that life through our drone system. The dividends of a friendship can be good and can be bad. We are discussing another huge opportunity here. So, with the relationship that the old man has with some of these people, will it pay off for the good of society? That must go.
Definitely, definitely. I was even shocked when I heard, that Elon Musk actually called the old man. After I think one or two attempts, then he picked up the phone and it was Elon Musk. But let's talk about the man Elon Musk a little bit. Um, I'm getting some feedback, so I don't know who has. um, Elon Musk is one of the world's richest men, and he has taken risks in so many areas in several cutting edge technologies, including electric cars. He's the one who, you know, pioneered the whole electric car stuff. He's into space exploration. He sent rockets to the moon, like to space, like every day. They send like tons of rockets. Okay, some for some, as military stuff, some internet, and different kinds of satellites. In fact, recently he's talking now about wanting to send human into space. He wants to be, a pioneer in sending people into space so that uh, to find a place that is habitable. In other words, he's looking at not only living on the earth now, but he's looking at a way that people can live, in another world, on another planet. So with this kind of person, having friendship with your country, it means a lot because one, he's into not only the space exploration and the electric vehicle stuff that I talk about, he's also into renewable energy. All right. So these solar panels we see around here, one of the issues that we are even facing here at ELBC, we burn a whole lot of fuel. If you have that opportunity, one of our strategic goals is uh, to embrace, to adapt renewable energy. So if we can have such a person come to this country, is going to help a lot because we can use that to cut down on costs, when it comes to electricity. And this is also going to contribute to economic growth because my understanding is that in that conversation they talk about Starlink, and Starlink is one of the fastest internets. All right, so if you have Starlink, you enjoy connectivity as though you were in like the United States, because the internet is very good, it's fast, and you can stream on it, you enjoy it, you can have run, like stream your YouTube, your Netflix, and all of that without issues. Imagine some of the issues we face on this show. At some point internet just drop and then we are cut off. So when an opportunity like that, you will see improvement in connectivity when it comes to internet. You will also notice that there will be investment opportunities. Okay, if Elon Musk has interest in your country, that will attract international investors. All right, it will definitely boost our foreign direct investment. Okay, so then we talk about job creation as well. If you have this opportunity coming, you have new projects, you know, in sectors like the renewable energy and technology, you create many jobs for Liberians and you reduce the unemployment rate and, improve the living standard of the people. Because if people, once people are working, they would definitely improve their lives. They will be able to build the houses for themselves. They will be able to send their children to school. They will be able to eat healthy. It means a whole lot. It's a big basket of opportunity that is coming to Liberia. Okay, Liberia is going to be seen on the global stage. Okay, where men like Elon Musk having countries in your interest in your country, people will begin to develop interest in that country and be like, oh, this country might seem to be a good place for investment. It seems to be a peaceful place. It seems to be a center of attention for opportunities in the future. So a lot of different opportunities will spring up, some of which I may not be able to name now, but a lot of different opportunities will spring up. Um, Steph, even in STEM. It will be we will have. I remember we have a program here. When we talk about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, a STEM program. This will also help to boost it because this guy loves technology so much. He loves science so much. He loves physics and all of these stuff. So definitely that part of the he even has a school in that area in STEM. So that is actually going to help our program as well. So if the old man can continue to cultivate this relationship, see how he can harness it, groom it and be able to milk it, Liberia is really going to be on the world stage for opportunities and development. Thank you. Be on the world stage for opportunities and development. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll close on that note. I'll close on that note. Are you guys getting me?
Yeah, we hear you, Thomas, but Tiflo is muted.
Oh, okay. Are you guys getting me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, okay, they can hear me now. Mr. Guyak, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Guyak?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Unmute Mr. Guyak, please.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
What are you doing now? Go ahead.
Yes, on the issue of, I can't hear you, Tiflo, so I don't know if you want me to speak on the issue of Elon Musk, but your mic is muted.
Where?
Okay, I can hear you now, Tiflo. Okay, I can hear you now, Tiflo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
the issue of public good versus individual good.
Okay. So yes, let me first begin by saying.
Go ahead, Greg. We can hear you.
Let me first begin by saying that when we all have friends, we have them categorized. There are some friends that are just social friends, and there are some friends that you have that are intellectual friendship that you have, and sometimes those overlap in a few places, and then you have some friends who are for different reasons. So just because we have friends don't necessarily mean that that translates into a benefit. Because I'm speaking about when you talk about the former president and the hopes that people had that a lot of football players were going to be going to Liberia. I want to use that backdrop to also temper our expectations with the phone calls to Elon Musk. But however, because we are on national radio, I want to challenge my brother a little bit, Mr. Gore, because I don't want information to be put out here that sometimes are not, they're not 100%. First of all, Elon Musk is not a pioneer in electric vehicles. He took over Tesla when Tesla already a company. And there were a lot
one of the pioneers, I said.
You said he was a pioneer. That's what you said. So he's a pioneer. That was your word.
Okay, all right. One of the pioneers.
And he was not even one of the pioneers.
No, he said one of them.
No, in fact, he was not even one of them because the technology was already out there. China has been running with it. China had been doing it. In fact, in South Korea,
not developed. It was not improved.
Before, again, that doesn't make it a pioneer when you improve it. A pioneer is quite different from somebody who improves stuff. So let's just get there because these are Liberian people listening to us. It was the same thing CDC did when they laid out a lot of stuff and they gave our people a lot of false hope. The other piece is that Elon Musk and SpaceX, they're not launching tons of rockets into space. There's once in a while.
I think you need to do your research.
My brother,
no, I can pull a screen now if you want.
Brother, it is not. What is tons of rockets? When you're talking, I give you the chance, my brother. When you're speaking, I give you the chance. The idea of launching,
but be careful you don't mislead the people.
My brother, will you listen though?
Because if you want to make a rebuttal, provide.
And again, but if you don't give me the chance to speak, how would I land? If you don't give me the chance to speak, how would I land? If you don't give me the chance to speak.
Okay, Thomas, let him speak, then you come back with 30 seconds.
Because the idea of tons of rockets being launched into space.
Well, go ahead.
It is an impossibility. Even with NASA, the National Space Exploration Agency of the U.S. government was not able to launch tons of rockets with all of their money. Even the Russians are not able to launch tons of rockets with all their money. And I'm speaking to you because I'm an authority in that field. And I'm an engineer. I'm a mathematician. I teach in STEM schools here. And beyond that, we have SpaceX schools here too that we deal with. So I'm saying that to you with authority because that's the work I do. Okay, so let's be very careful about what we tell to our Liberian people. Yes, he does launch SpaceX into space, but it's not tons. Okay, because that is not a physical possibility. Now, having said that, there hasn't been any country
has launched 72 rockets.
How is that tons? How is 72? If you understand quantifying stuff, is 72 tons? When you talk about tons, it's 72 tons.
I think you are misconstruing the figurative expression then.
But that cannot be figurative.
72 rockets from the beginning of this year to now, that's a lot of rockets.
You cannot be using numbers.
And they were all successful.
My brother, you cannot be using numbers and be figurative. Those two things don't go together.
Okay, I think you misconstrued me. But 72 rockets since 2024, that's a lot.
Rockets. And most of those rockets were about exploration. Some of them was about technology, and some of them was about carrying people and coming them back. It was not all about the same mission. And in fact, most of those were sponsored by the U.S. government for other scientific research reasons. So you should read further into that. Now, having said that, there are no.
You need to be like, let's be pragmatic here. I did not say that he did not collaborate with he wins contracts, right, from the U.S. government. But 72 rockets from the beginning of this year to now, that's a lot.
Thomas, your assertion carried through that he had been doing that on his own. In fact, you call him a pioneer in space exploration, a pioneer in what's called unmanned vehicles. And I just want to put that for Liberian people to be able to digest that. The last piece I want to talk about this is that Elon Musk. There are not, I don't know how many countries that we can show that Elon Musk's interest has led to an increase in economic activities in those countries. As a matter of fact, Elon Musk asked a businessman, he was described by the Wall Street Journal as having a schizophrenic approach to businesses. Remember when he was buying now what we call X, back then it was called Twitter? Because of his inability to focus, the company lost a lot of money, got devalued. He wanted to walk out of that. He was threatened with lawsuits, and he was forced to buy the company.
No,
it is right in the news. It's right in the news.
reason why he wanted to
he didn't lose
pull
value
back on the deal was that they had a lot of bots.
Again, here's the point.
Giving the fair numbers of users.
Thomas. When he went to an agreement, when he signed the paper, he didn't ask for that.
They did not give him the correct number of users.
And that is why. Thomas, let's just let it think.
But let's go
because he devalued because of his schizophrenic approach. He devalued the company.
You can devalue if you say you have 10 million users and it turns out that they are not real users. They definitely are not worth what you claim to be.
When you were saying your things, I listened carefully, Thomas.
Okay, but you are misleading the public.
Well,
so I need to.
He didn't devalue X.
I need to catch you right on.
Which part is that he didn't devalue X?
He devalued it, but the reason you gave was not what. He devalued it because of a genuine reason.
Okay, again, I'm not talking about the reason. You say I'm misleading. I'm telling you, he devalued the company. You say I'm misleading. But then you say
the aim of a businessman is to make money.
Logic is difficult. If-then statement. There's an if-then statement. The other piece I'm going to go to is the issue of Tesla. When he was buying Tesla, when he took over Tesla as CEO, again, Tesla lost a lot of money on Wall Street. The data is there. Because of his activity. So I just want to be careful.
Let me interject. Let me interject. So, Citizen, are you trying to infuse that
you don't know much
has
about
not,
Elon Musk.
he has
You
not
need to do
absolutely
more
nothing anymore?
research.
He's not a help. He does not have the
There are two
capacity
people talking, I
to
can't
help
listen.
the
So,
economy
two
of
people
any
gotta wait
country.
and you talk, or I'll listen to one person. There are two people talking, I can't listen.
So my question is, are you trying to imply or suggest that Elon Musk has not or does not have the capacity to be a hub to any country?
I haven't said that. What I'm saying is that we have to be careful with the information we put out, so that our people have an expectation that is managed with the facts.
Okay.
Elon Musk is a multi-billionaire. That is a fact. He leads multi-billionaire companies. That is a fact. The issue of the internet that they're using, Starlink, is actually even what the Ukrainian army was using. That is a good internet. That's a fact. That there can be economic development and transfer of technology. That is a fact. I haven't touched those when Thomas spoke on those because those are facts. What I'm speaking on here is that we have to be mindful that when we are saying things, we are not hyperbolic about it, because that was what happened with the CDC government. They were overly hyperbolic, and when things didn't work out because the facts did not back up their hyperbole, it became a problem.
Yeah, but I don't think I exaggerated anything. 72 rackets.
Okay, Thomas,
in math, we would do tons and answer on the two.
Okay. All right. Let's go forward. Okay.
All right. Samuel, rebuttal in 30 seconds.
Yeah, so all I want to tell my brother is that when we use I was using figurative expression when I said tons of racket, but I meant many rackets, a lot of rackets. 72 rackets from January to now is a lot of rackets. So if the word tone, confuse you, that is what I meant. Several rackets, many, not just several, in fact, many rackets. On the other hand, when you talk about the Twitter deal, he was trying to purchase a company that he thought had a whole lot of users because of the numbers that were giving him. But it turned out later, after he started the deal, that some of the users were not actual users. They were created by bots or created by sub-programs that people wrote that could just multiply, create accounts automatically, like automate creation of accounts, like automatically create accounts. So when he realized that, he was like, oh, you don't have this amount of users that you claim to have. So then it means that you are not value what you claim to be. And when you talk about social media or even the world we live in now, data, especially users, matter. Especially in social media, users matter. The amount of users that a social media app has matters because they use these users, or basically make money out of users by showing their ads and all of these things. So the amount of users you have there, for example, the show we have in now, the amount of views could influence advertisers to decide, hey, this show has a lot of users, a lot of views, so let me advertise on this, on this particular show. So that is why you saw that that is why you see Elon Musk that is the reason why he had issue with Twitter at the time. It was simply because of the number of users. It wasn't anything about being scary or whatever. It was just that he wanted to make sure that he got the value for his money.
So Thomas, I think you helped my point. The point I made was not that they didn't have bots on Twitter. Elon Musk accepted the data from Twitter. He had due diligence. He had lawyers. They went through those data. He signed that he was going to buy the company based on what he had. He didn't do enough research. He signed that he was going to buy the company. When you always say will buy it, you can't come by there and say somebody pepper rotting the bed. You had the time to open the pepper bag and dump it and look inside. You didn't do it until you already say you will buy it. Then when the person can't pay for it, you say no, somebody pepper rotting. What he did, and that's the point I'm making about being scared.
Well, he didn't say he was not going to buy it. He was like, hey,
let me hold the two of you. Let me hold you guys there.
Yeah.
let me hold the both of you where you guys are seated, and I hope that you remain where you guys are seated. Let me go to Fabian. Holding everything constant, having listened to Cesar Guia and Thomas Gore, along with the other panelists, how do you look at this meeting between His Excellency and the world richest man, Elon Musk?
I think the virtual meeting was strategic, based on the fact that that was something that was in hidden, and there were results that came from that virtual meeting. Remember, we have a youthful population, and one of the needs the president stressed in that virtual meeting was the significance of technology, especially to our youthful population, even though health and other things were stressed. But I think that friendship matters most, because when you do these things like having a companion or a real friend who wants to invest in your country despite the intimacy or what have you, yeah, they will come up with some meaningful things. And I think is glaring to the fact that once Elon Musk had that meeting with President Boyka, and issues emanating from the virtual meeting were spelled out to the Liberian people, I think it's in a good direction. As for Cisse, I think his argument is based on a two-way street.
What do you call a two-way street?
He's either for and against, because he said a lot of good things, and then he stressed the need relating to challenges, the other side, Okay. And then I do agree with him that when information are being given on a platform like this, it should be factual and filtered. But again, we are panelists on the program, and everybody will have the sides of the story, either the good side and the bad side.
Absolutely.
And so once that meeting was held, I think in the not too distant future, we're going to benefit from that. Obviously, you have people saying the good things and the bad things. So probably if there are promises made behind the screen and not brought to the public, I think we await to see what Elon Musk will have for the Liberian people in areas that he underscored.
Okay, folks, let's take our next question here. I got a few more for you people. An inclusive society, a community, a nation, group of people focusing on the public good. I have listened to so many leaders. I have had this opportunity of a lifetime to interview so many politicians in this country, at home and abroad. And His Excellency Joseph Yimobwaka just happened to be one of those that God has blessed me to be somebody in the public space, to be given an opportunity to even have a minute of an interview with. He always speaks on the issue of an inclusive society, a society that focuses more needed on the people, on the public good, the good of society. When we talk about a good of society, it does come with a couple of good and bad. It is not where you tell somebody, say, and like we say in Liberia, can't let eat. Can't let you. You just come, you eat without bringing anything to the table. So when the president speaks about an inclusive society, his policies, his views, his ideologies, and where he wants to take this country, it's a big cap. It's a big thing to do. So many leaders of this country, just few months ago, there was somebody in a very position who had all of these things to talk about. He wanted to have Betty Island. He went there and he promised that he was going to sit there, and at the end of the day, there'd be a big hall, and the people in that part of the country will now understand that this is the man who got this done. So an inclusive society does come with a lot. So that brings me to the question of where our president wants to take this country to be. When we talk about an inclusive society, and this is for the liberal, Samson Brown told. His view is everybody discussing Liberia. Don't do it just by excluding certain people. What's good for the South should be good for the East, the West, and the other side, the North. So what's your take when you listen to a leader talks about an inclusive society? Samson Brown told. The Liberal. I can't hear you. You stay muted. You are still muted. Samson Branto.
That's surprising. Am I audible now?
Go ahead, Liberal.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving anybody. I hear from to the end. No, but on a very serious note, President Baka, if you really want to know the man himself, and those of us who consider ourselves political junkie, I'm not a good reader like Sissy Goya and the rest of the people, but I read a little bit. And so you follow people' way of talking in a gathering, in speeches, and what have you. Ever since the president got on stage to seek the presidency and what have you, his commitment, his words have always been all hand on deck. We can do it, but we must do it together. And I also believe that this president, with all that is going on around him, I believe, and I could be wrong, because I am not, I'm not in contact with this president. He doesn't even know who I am anyway. So, but I love his ability to lead, and I love his policy and what have you. And so I've already always supported his quest to be president. Now that he is president, whatever that I can do to promote his agenda, we will do so without fear or favor whatsoever. Now, Libro,
you have always done that. Throughout the campaign, I listened to you. Yes.
Now, Libro. Yeah. So
throughout the campaign, you did just that. Something, Branto.
Yes. So, the issue for me right now, President Baka Henny work. Yes. It's just been exhibited between these two young men here today. President Baka does not bring his issue and tell you not to talk about it. President Baka, ever since he came to power, you never saw him putting his fingers to his mouth. That has not happened, and that will not happen because he believes in the people having a true discussion. Now, Deflo, the president say he's going to do certain things. What I do believe, our father, that say he's going to do certain things. What I do believe, our father. Are you talking to me? No. Okay. What I do believe, this president has the ability.
No, go ahead.
No. You believe that this president have the ability to do is to lead us. He will lead us to a successful conclusion as far as I'm concerned. He's not going to leave us hanging. And one of the things that you follow this president, what he has done over the years, is to make sure to bring people along. And there's so many people that have talked to this president. Like I said, he doesn't know me. I've never met him before. In fact, I'm such a small person. I don't even want to go to rehab because I don't want people to catch me there. Okay? But on a very serious note, every young person that have had conversation with this president, they always
Rehab is a very safe community, though.
When you sit around the president, sit and talk to him, you will forget that you have your own idea because he implies to you the most important thing, which is logical conclusion of whatever you have to talk about. Well, for a person like that, and leading us, for me, it's an opportunity. We can blow as Liberia and not try to gravitate and suck this energy from our father. This good energy he has, suck it from him. Make sure all of us as Liberians get to understand exactly where he wants to take us. He's not here to come go buy $200 shoes. He's not here to come go buy $500 kosu. What are you doing that one for? He's in there to make sure that we all benefit. And with that, Deflo, I think we're on a good path. We're on a good path. Thank you. I think we're on a good path. We're on a good path.
Thank you, Samson Branto. So let me go to Mark Cotto, Blind. Mark Cotto. let me ask you this question, the same question. An inclusive society where people are respected by their fellow men, where, of course, a man will wake up in the morning and picking up his bed to say, I'm going to work. It's also a society where men we call an inclusive society. An inclusive society also where when you get sick or your child is ill, the child is sent to JFK, you will say, I trust the doctors that are working for this entity. They are good doctors. An inclusive society is also is where the police will not choose between the poor and the rich, who to be arrested and who not to be arrested. An inclusive society is also a society where you can set up, knowing very well, not just calling yourself a citizen of Liberia, but a citizen that is making a contribution to society. So, what's your take on inclusive society?
Thank you, D. Flo. The first inclusiveness I saw in our president was to focus right now on the southeastern side of the country. We noticed that when it came to election, he was not even considered in that era. Most of the people on that side voted, against him. Looking at that, he didn't mind that the majority voted against him. He accepted them and decided to even include them and work on the road on that side. For me, that one of the major inclusive road that he took that I commend him for highly. Many people who have said, "Oh, these people didn't vote for me, so I'm not even going to care for them." But he included them because he said Liberia is for everybody and not only for one side. He was said, "Let me go to Lofa." That was one of the major, steps that he took. And then, like Mr. Toh said, the military, the police, the hospitals, and even the war crime court. We saw he took bold steps in that. He has to include all of those people's view. And it's like we said, we wanted these things. He didn't sit there and say, let me look at what I want. He said, let me look at what the people requested for. And looking at his responsibility for what he signed for, he decided to actually implement what he has promised the Liberian people. For me, that's inclusiveness right there. And he looked at areas that people would benefit most, like for the airport. He sat there and said to include, many people coming in America that we travel to go to Liberia. He also decided to improve that end where we, from the other end, would be acceptable or satisfied, and whereas the people in Liberia will also be satisfied. There are many ways, to be inclusive. And I think for now, I think many people will say, okay, they want to look at a particular thing where the man would take, or the president would take physical cash and put it into individual hands. But that's not the case. If they are creating job environment for you to get a job, they are creating economic, viability, we all will benefit. It's not individual benefit that we are looking at. And because those opportunities are created, for me, I think that those are all inclusiveness. Looking at also the university, we saw the problem that they had there with their president. He looked into the view of those people, the plot, and made sure to try to resolve it. That's being inclusive, okay? And because those are areas that these people they need, is that they need to be there to be to improve education. Those are inclusiveness. Health sectors, we saw that they were maintaining. They carry on some maintenance work in JFK. He decided to go there, but going there, I think he did not just want there to go there and talk, empty-handed. He decided to take top to the baby mothers. I know many of them may not even have these things available for their kids. That's being inclusive. I mean, I look at it on that level where the general public will benefit from something that he alone is not benefiting from. And for now, I'm seeing that in many places. I might not be able to name all, but just to name few that I'm looking at right now.
Thank you. So this one is for the Deputy for Public Administration, Thomas Gore. An inclusive society is where, to me, where the rights of one person starts, the next man's rights begin from that point. It's where when somebody steps on your toe, you go to the police, not more violence. An inclusive society is where the old ones are not abandoned by society. The elderly are not being put on the wayside, left home, abandoned by their children, by the government. An inclusive society is where, for me, where the people with disability are also participants on our national decision. An inclusive society, for me, is also a society where respect for the rights of others is at a higher peak. An inclusive society is also where we prioritize national issues over hate and over disobedience to society. What is your own inclusive? When the president talks about an inclusive society, he's talking about everything that has to do with the older ones respecting the younger ones, waiting for their time to learn society, try to grow, and just doing what is right for the country.
I think he strikes some major, essential points when it comes to inclusivity, however the Englishman calls it. President Mbaka has been having, series of meetings with different, national stakeholder groups. But one of the areas that I personally feel that he has really done well, this government in general, is the fact that the government has embraced a lot of young people in the government. All right. If you look at a lot of positions in government, the old man did not, try to kind of like look down on the young people. He has embraced the young people. It's like he has said, look, come on, Bo, help me and let's transform this country. And that is why you hear him every time he's like, hey, I want you to join me, help me, so that we can do the Liberian people business, but not, do it in a way that is not business as usual. So I think that he really means it, and you can see it because it's visible. It's visible in the way he makes appointments. He's included, people from the different, political spectrum of our country. And I think that if he continues in this path, Liberia is headed for a very good future.
Thank you, Thomas Gordon. So, Sizzy, Mr. Guerra, we're going to come to you, then we'll go to Fabi. We want to make it quick because we want to go to the line to take some calls from our listeners, the most important people that have their say in a discussion. An inclusive society, to me, when the president looks at him, because this is an element, a statement that I spend a lot of my time with. Sometimes when I sit with His Excellency Joseph Yima Boakai, I don't want to leave the space. I just want to say that he will talk about things that are just good. When you sit with him, you learn a lot. An inclusive society to him is equal work, equal pay. Few days ago, we were at the Amica, where he launched salary, equal pay, equal work. Because in the Liberia broadcasting system here, if Fabi is a journalist, and of course the next man who is John, and both of them are doing the same job, if Fabi as a journalist is making $200, of course John should be paid the same $200. Equal work, equal pay. What is your own definition of equal work of an inclusive society?
I think Thomas struck a lot of very good points, and I wanted to recognize that in the responses he gave. But look, President Mbaka is ahead of the curve when it comes to this pay parity. In America, we're still struggling with that. Deflo, you know that. In America, there's still an issue of a wage gap between men and women. Equally qualified, doing the same job, most women would make 80 cents on the dollar. And there is an issue that America is still grappling to deal with. And Joseph Yuma Boakai, President Boakai, I'm sorry, is already leading ahead of the U.S. in that area. And saying, yeah, we're not going to talk about it more. This is where I'm going to use the bully pulpit. I'm going to use the authority given to me as the eldest in the room to lead. And so I don't know people who live in Liberia all their lives. I don't know how they recognize the gravity of this. In this country, you see it. Let me just give you one quick example. U.S. women's soccer, they've won World Cups. U.S. men's soccer has not won any World Cup, but the pay they get for the men for losing is more than the money the women get for winning. In America, if I am a director and a woman is a director, we're both qualified, I make more money than her. And so I want my Liberian people to really understand how critical this piece is. It made me laugh. It made me get goosebumps when I heard that Joseph Yuma Boakai was leading on their path. We don't all have to praise sing all the time, but when somebody is doing something great, you have to come out and shout it out. And I'm shouting that out because I worked in Liberia before I came to America, and I saw that. I saw how our mothers and our sisters and our aunties and our cousins literally sometimes have to beg for their own money that is due them. I don't want to be emotional, so I just want to put it out there to say, I think, but for me to answer the greater question, equal participation for me looks like honoring the Constitution and our traditions. You see, most time we forget, we say Constitution, and we forget that there are other things that are not addressed by the Constitution, which is our traditions. Our people had a way of living, which was covered by our traditional practices. And so where the Constitution lapses, we have to make sure we understand that the tradition picks up on that. And I think that's why when usually folks talk about the elder, Uncle Joe Boakai, also in Lofa County, that can say, I was supporting somebody else, but I was mindful never to say wrong thing about my uncle. Because I know when I come back to Lofa, my uncle, it'll be a problem for me when I try to cross. It is just that cultural aspect of it. So before I finish, let me just, I know we got to go, but I wanted to call out 3 people here. Josiah Jokai at the CSA is leading in that work of equity and getting everybody to share in the national pie rightfully. Rightfully is the key word. Dr. Jala at the Ministry of Education, going on a countrywide tour from county to county, assessing, talking to the people, understanding what they feel about the education that's been delivered to their children in their various localities, and looking at the academic, the building, the infrastructure, the teachers, everything. Listening to the people on the ground. That's how you give people access. Fair shot. Yesterday, Gregory Coleman was here, and he spoke about having a youth advisory council. Youth advising the chief of police on the way police interact with our people. I think, and just because I didn't call other people out doesn't mean they're not doing the work. I'm just saying these are the 3 that looks to me that they are walking the walk and they are walking the talk that President Joseph Yuma Boakai is already walking.
Walking the talk that President Joseph Yuma Boakai is already walking.
Thank you, Fabi.
Don't do this.
The past administration, this salary harmonization.
Please, if you don't mind, if you don't mind. I usually start to zip my mouth, but this one is very.
Go ahead.
What the president has so interested in the psyche of Liberians is the young ladies, because of the pay parity that we're talking about. The young ladies that might want to be able to get 1 or 2 cents, which President Boakai is now telling them that it doesn't matter where you come from, a man or woman, once you can do the job, you will get paid. That is something that we have to take into consideration. The cultural aspect of it and the abuse our sisters, mother face in our country. These are the way you address those situations. I'm sorry to interrupt, please. I just want to make that point. Thank you very much.
you address those situations. I'm sorry to interrupt, please.
Thank
I just
you.
want to make that point.
Thank you, Deliverer. Fabio, just before we go to our line, I want you to condense it for me and for our listeners. This past government, this salary harmonization, that harmonization did not go 50-50 equal work, equal pay. Some directors sitting somewhere are being paid more than $1,000, while others are paid $400. Equal work, equal pay. In an inclusive society, the president wants everybody. If Fabi is doing something and John is doing that same thing, they should get paid. What is your own when it comes to that issue?
I think the issue of salary harmonization from the past government was done in a way that people had issues with it. Take, for example, there are some people that were qualified or are qualified for the job and was making like chicken change, while others who did not bear qualifications took home more. And so that aspect of the salary harmonization in the past wasn't part of an inclusive government, because if you want to have an inclusive government, everybody should be on par. Take, for example,
Fabien,
and they do the same work based on the qualifications, and D-Flow is being paid for some reasons, other for connection or more. That brings about dissatisfaction and not being inclusive. But in the case of President Boyka having a society where he thinks that should be inclusive, could be respecting the rights of others and having a wholesome and functioning society. Okay, take for instance his appointment. He included people with disabilities, visually impaired. I mean, they are qualified, not because of their condition, but that was something that he did to have people thinking that they could be incorporated into the society and be groomed to whatever they learn. Like I know of somebody,
For them to make contributions.
yeah, like I know of somebody who's in a position of visually impaired. I think he has a degree from Cottington University. And when he was being appointed, a lot of people started condemning and saying, why would the president do that? Why would the president do this? But believe me, he's qualified, went to school, earned a degree, and decided to give back to society. So you cannot have him out of society. So by the president thinking about having an inclusive society where you have people having equal work and equal pay, I think that makes it more functional. And so we know we've been divided over the years, and you have people with diverse views. Sometimes when you listen to other people, other during the street talks or some talk shows, you see that the views are somehow divided. People say things and have some diverse issue towards things. And so the issue of President Boyka having an inclusive society and building a unifying force will make people to have more respect and bring more people on board to share whatever they have, so that we have equal pay and equal rights and equal status. Though you don't expect everybody to be satisfied 100%, but I think having an inclusive society will lead us in the right direction.
Thank you, Fabi, ladies and gentlemen. If you just joining us, this is Nightline Liberia. Now is the time for those of you who are in on radio land listening to us for almost 2 hours. The opportunity is yours for you to make your contribution to this to the discussion tonight. So the number to call tonight for our callers is 077-287-6481. I repeat, 077-287-6481. It's your time, and the opportunity is yours to make the maximum time of the contribution to society. So go ahead and dial in 077-287-6481 to make a contribution. Can you open the line, sir? Let's take the first caller. Caller, good evening, and where you joining from? My mic is slow. Hello? Hello, caller? Hello. Good evening. It looks like our line is a little bit. Do we have a caller? Not yet. Okay. 077287.
Hello?
Hello, caller. Your name, where's Josh from?
My name is Emmanuel.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I'm calling from District 17.
Go ahead. Make your contribution.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. Now, because if these people, they see this government want to help us with the surveillance, we will not suffer. So that the shameless grab them, that the psychologists they bring in for the president to be favored. And here,
yes.
So we are only begging the government and the president, I beg, please, the development that they bring in, they must continue with it, not listening to the people.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's take the next caller. Caller, name and where is Josh from? Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, caller. Your name and where is Josh from? Hello. Hello, caller. Please lower your monitor. We can hear you. Your name and where is Josh from?
Good evening.
Good evening, my brother. Welcome to the show.
My name is Chokon Ise Junior calling from Jakarta.
Talk to us, brother.
Thank you for the topic on our discussion this hour. And the government, our father, Joseph Imabwaga, president, is doing well. Inclusive government is what we want in the country. You're not putting somebody down to say, oh, you're from the opposition party, so I will not include you in my government. It is true. You bring everybody on board that Liberia will get a good face for the future tomorrow. Even young people are working in the government, but the past government, we had a lot of things that they're doing pick and choose, not getting people who get the opportunity to work for the Liberian people. They don't get a chance. They do their own setting. But the government, I pray that Joseph Baga will do more than what he's doing. We pray.
Thanks for your participation. Let's take the next caller. Good evening, where is Josh from? So the number to call again is 07728766481. Again, 077. Let's take the next call. Caller, your name, where is Josh from? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name, where is Josh from?
My name is Peter DJ. I'm calling from Bon County, Pacific Zambia.
Go ahead, my brother from Bon County.
All right. My contribution is that I want to tell all the children that we should forget about the politics now to see how best our Liberia can be better for us. Our president elected is Mr. Buckeye, the president. We all need to join hands together and work together and see how Liberia will be better. But if we see the political side, everything, Liberia will not be better. Politics have gone, but this is time to preserve our country.
I tell you, Prof. Go ahead. You need the next caller. Your name, where is Josh from? Hello, caller. Your name, where is Josh from? I can hear you. Your name, where is Josh from?
Hello?
Hello, your name, where is Josh from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Winston Point. I'm Principal. We're calling you.
Let's talk.
Yeah, I appreciate so much for this night. This is my first time calling this show. Are you getting me?
Yes, you are live. Go ahead.
All right. I appreciate so much this show tonight. I've been listening to this show for the first time to call on this show. Regard to the discussion tonight, President Barker is breaking the record, in the females in the government. I think to be corrected, he has breaking that record. He has, employed both females in the government and another president in the country. You can check the record. And the president have done well for the 6 months. If you check the record, 6 months, and 6 years, people have been partying around here. They have done well. I think President Barker have done well in the 6 months time. And regard to, like I said, the instances Senator for grandchildren have stated, the road have been impossible to move that region during this time. Now the car have flowing, keke, monoba have flowing that and will pass, even stuck in the mud. Now the cars are moving. So we thank so much for the president. President Biden will do well for the country. And we believe that people have more of the offer in the country. For youth, women, adults, disability in the government. So we're going to pray for him. And but I'm working along with him to join the work to do more.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for this show.
Thank you. Let's take the next caller. Caller, where is yours from? Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I'm calling directly from River G.
Go ahead. Your name and where is yours from? River G.
My name Big. I'm calling directly from Vision.
Talk to us about River G.
I'm a man with disability. The president talking about the able people I said about him. Only he must remember that so the able people in River G. So the one I want to say.
Thank you. Thanks for your participation. Let's take the next caller. Caller, where is yours from? Caller, are you with me? Your name where is yours from?
Yeah, good evening, bro.
Good evening.
Me remain concerned on EC and GM. Just to say this, you know, if we talk about inclusive government from the Supreme Court down to the legislature and representative whosoever, our president, our father, Joseph Imabwaga, Excellency, you have able to see all around the federal and that of the counties in the rural part of the country. So they have to wrap around the government and that people get a good faith for the generation. We're not doing it for Pwaga, but we're doing it for our generation children to come tomorrow. That's why you're doing it, but you're not doing it for yourself. So we should have that man to say, oh yeah, the papi sleeping, the papi this, the papi that. Child and sleep can concentrate well. So thank you.
Thanks for your participation. We'll take one more and then we'll go to our panelists for their closing statement.
Hello?
Hello. You are the first female caller and the last caller.
Yes, my name is Comfort Weah.
Go ahead, Comfort. Your name is where you join us from?
From Rehab. Yes, the topic that I want to discussion is I want to appeal to the both presidents, the current president and the past president, to please join as a family team to protect the citizens of Liberia. They shouldn't mind the say. I am begging again, especially the president and the past president, to please help me. I am a single mother. In the election, my phone.
What type of help do you need?
Yes, my foot. I was selling business on my own. But
what type of help do you need?
I need no help. My house is open up. Me and my children lying down in the house, no roof to the other side of the place. And no food. I was sick. I was in the bush for almost 6 months.
How many bedroom we're talking about here?
It's not one bedroom. That's just a single room.
That single bedroom, that one bundle of zinc bedroom, right?
No, I don't need a thing. I just wanted to help me to relocate.
Okay.
The place and no food, my legs. I'm not doing anything. I just came from the state bush. My whole foot got swallowed with koa. So I'm begging them, please let they help my children and I.
Okay.
When the rain is falling, we have nowhere to sleep. Okay. So please, I want to help me. This is my number.
Thank you. I think we should just... Okay, let's take the final caller. Caller, good evening, and where you join us from? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, you are the last caller. Your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, the second I'm calling, Diplo.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it so much. I want to recommend to the management for this show. Please, to extend the program to 11 o'clock. Because you are so interested in this show. So I'm please appealing to the management of LBS to attend the show to 11 o'clock.
Okay. I guess the Director General Eugene Lamy Fagon is listening along with other top management team here. We have Thomas Goa, who is also part of the team here. So, folks, here we are. You're listening to our callers from Rewaji, from Bon County, Masurado, and other parts of the country. We are going to close of 1 minute per person. Let's go to our medical doctor, the nurse. Koto Blessing Lion. 1 minute in closing.
Yes, thank you, D-Flow, and thanks again to my fellow panelists.
Yes, thank you.
The topic on a discussion today was well
To my fellow panelists,
deliberated on. And in such case, you know, this is how we can contribute to our country. It's not everybody to come in Liberia and work for the government in Liberia. It's impossible. Even with those that are there, like I said from the onset, you need to prepare yourself to get a job. And if you don't have a job now, there are many ways to contribute to your society. I live in Liberia. I did not work with government. I created my own job, and you know, you can do business. Many people there in Liberia would say, oh, because I have the requisite education, I must get a job. Okay, it is true that you must get a job, but if the opportunity is not there now, create an avenue. Some of us have businesses we were doing, and we try to do the business to, you know, support ourselves and our family. When I was in high school there, I supported myself by means of business and supported myself to go to school. And even with college in the University of Liberia, I was in the University of Liberia while doing business and supporting myself in the University of Liberia. But I found out that most of our young people just want to go and sit in the office. It is true that you went and got a requisite education, but the job market is limited in Liberia. That everybody right now. And that's why I think the president is doing the right thing right now, talking to friends, you know, to create the avenue that many of you will get a job. But in the interim where you don't have the opportunity now, do something to support yourself. Go to school. Education is the bedrock for life. If you are not educated, it's difficult. When I came to America here, I had all of the education from back there. I came here. I still had to go to a school in America here to be a nurse. And when I came here, I wasn't a nurse. And I had to go to nursing school before I became a nurse. So I want to say this to our people. Let's create the avenue. Now that this equipment are there, many of you causing noise, equipment. Create an opportunity. Start asking now to be trained in this era. Okay? Because if you train in this area, you will have a job. All the agriculture sectors are coming. Get into this area and create job in those areas. Not everybody will sit in office. And I know what the heat. D-Flow knows some of the heat that our personally going through. And I know what they supported this government. They are being also supported this government. Job.
Yes.
Just talking right now for our people. Yes. You got to do something. Everybody cannot work. Yes. I see right now some of you are saying that you're discouraged because you guys are not appointed on job. It is not possible that everybody be appointed, and we all know. So create an avenue where you can do business, you can go back to the soil, and you will make money. Okay. So I want to say it was good that we had this time, and I'm glad to be part of this ERBC talk show, and I will make it my business to actually come here and be contributing. As you can see, I'm still at work, but I will still, you know, create some hours to, you know, contribute. Think my own way to contribute to
law for country.
Yes, that's the law for country.
That's law for country. Let's not go to Cesar Guia. Cesar Guia, you listen to the quarters. You listen to our quarters from Rewaji, other parts of the country. Some of them are calling for the extension, or to extend the conversation, the show to 11 p.m. What's your closing statement in a minute, please? Condense it, please.
11 p.m.
Guia said, no, I need 2 minutes. Go ahead, Guia.
I have to be. I think I'm hearing myself. Yeah, one of the hosts, if you can be one of the hosts. I have to be usually running between my office, running from work to run home. And so sometimes when I'm taking the interview, you see a different background out of my work, and I have to shut my door and make sure I'm not yelling on the computer. But we'll do what we got to do for Liberia, right? You know, some of us got blessed by God and by our ancestors, not because of the great work we did, but so that we could be blessings back to our own people and our own communities. And I think outside of going back to Liberia to go fight for a job, this is the best I can do, is to be out here and help to educate our people and put stuff out there. I think there was a call from River G that really connected with me to my core. Is the person living with disability that called and said, please don't forget about me. I'm a teacher here in America. I'm a licensed teacher here. I teach secondary school. Disability should not be a determiner by itself of how far along the social ladder or the economic ladder you can climb. I went to school with a lot of people back in the day in Liberia that had physical disability, and when they used to rain D-flow, you see our brothers with they have the slippers on their hands, and they're crawling, dragging themselves in the water just to get to school. And when you get to school, most of the schools I went to were story buildings. Now you got to climb yourself without the elevator up those many stairs. When you get up there, you don't want to come back down because the energy is not there, and the stress and the pain. And sometimes you're just invisible. You are not seen because you are down there below everybody else. There has to be a lot of things we have to do if we're going to level the playing field, if we're going to get Liberians to feel like they too belong, that they're just as equally Liberians. And for me, that's what I want to end with. I know the president, Joseph Boakai, I've worked on his foundation. I'm actually still on his foundation. I follow him when he was leading the group of 77. So I know where his heart is as a deacon also. I know where his heart is. I will hope that everybody else in our country that drives around and see our brothers and sisters who have been made to become beggars simply because they live with disability, that it strikes our collective conscience that while we can wind down the window and get 5 out of 10 out, that we should collectively work to come up with policy and fund in our budget ways in which to start humanizing our brothers and sisters again that live with disability. And that starts with education. That starts with making sure they have access to welfare. And the lady who called with the issue of the Goa and having a problem, my heart goes out to you. I don't want to be one of those people that sit on platform and make promises, but we will all pray. And we will hope that it works out for you. Because I am a son of a poor Loma woman too, who had to sell cookies to send our children to school from Zolowo, Lofa County. A man named Gidwoba is who is sitting here today because other people took chances on my mother to have mercy on some of us who are here. So I just want to end with that and say we have to do better. And the way society does better is usually by how we treat the less fortunate among us.
How we treat the less fortunate among us.
Thank you. Let's now go to Fabian Quia. Fabian, you're closing.
Yes, first of all, I want to commend the colors that call the calls. It made sense. I would say that. And what I think is that for our society that is so youthful, it's good that we take advantage of opportunities and don't squander them, because tomorrow there will be space and portion for the younger ones, especially if they are committed to learning. So let's take advantage so that we'll be part of the society, to be inclusive and to contribute our quota. And so I want to thank everybody that called on the show and to our panelists out there for being here tonight. And we definitely will be back here tomorrow.
Thank you. Let's go to Thomas Gore. Deputy Gore.
All right. I think everybody has said
Amos, you are muted.
almost, all. But I wanted to say to those callers out there that ELBC has employment opportunities. We are looking for cleaners. We are looking for, technicians. If you are in the counties, like the following counties: Lofa, Bon, Bomi, Maryland, Sando, and Grangita, we are looking for technicians. We want to hire them locally. The announcement is on the radio, and the email address you can send your application to is jobs@elbcradio.com. So that's jobs, JOBS, @elbcradio.com. So apply, take advantage of it. The process is fair, free and fair is, competitive, but it's free and fair. And so you never know, you could have an opportunity with us. We are looking for talented people. Even at our hair office, we are looking for cleaners. We are looking for, several different, um, um, you know, uh, people. So if you can just apply it and send the application to us, whatever just send it. When we have, a space here, we'll definitely get back to you. Um, on the issue of our discussion tonight, I want to just say that it was very good. I like the fact that we have opposing views, like my brother Cisse and myself, which is good. I think this is what the people want to hear, because not everybody is on, the same side. Okay, so only thing I can say is that Elon Musk is not baby. He can give us renewable energy. He
Why can't
can
it happen
give
that
us high speed internet, all of that. And with the road connectivities, our counties, getting all our counties connected will help us. We can be able to go to visit our families. We can be able to go to our farms in the hinterland, faster. I have a farm a peanut farm in Lofa, but since I went there during the uh, planting, I haven't gone back because of the road condition, but I'm planning again to go back since I heard good news, and we are harvesting now. So with all of that, it will help a whole lot, because my plan is to be able to grow more peanuts, pepper, and then be able to bring them over to Moravia or anywhere where there is good market. So with all of these, if the government can continue to help us have access to these areas, it's really going to be good. But on that note, I want to thank all of you. I want to say, we appreciate very much your taking your time and being here. Especially for those of you in the diaspora, I know what it means. Time is actually money. When they say time is money, that's where it applies. Time is money. Every minute, an hour is a lot of money you lose. So 2 hours of your time, 3 hours of your time, I know how much some of you are losing right now. So thank you very much. Right now. So thank you very much.
Let's now go to the Liberal. Samson Branto.
Thank you. Thank you. Final panelists, I want to say thanks, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful time. The three of us here, Cisse, Corto, and myself, when we're done with this show, then we move on to our own show for another 2 hours, all about Liberia on a very serious note, and where some of us literally will do the Joseph Baka dancing, and then we do that on our show because we love what he's doing for our people, and whatever we can do to encourage him, we will do so. Let me just say the person that called from River G, Fishtown, I too understand that. My nephew, my niece is here with me through the effort of former Vice President Joseph Nyimabaka, who was hailing at the time the handicapped group of young people handicapped in Liberia, where he would transport them to the United States for prestige and what have you. And when that lady time, because you get to a certain age,
then your parent or your family will take over. So once she passed that age, she graduated, we then stepped in to bring her here. But that initiative was started by President Mbaka. On the issue of disability in Liberia, and this is where we come in again, it's amazing to see. You have young Liberian engineers, very smart people, a country that are coming from a civil war, but yet still, they do not have ADA ramps. They don't have ramps on their sidewalk that will allow wheelchair people to go up. They have a ramp, but the ramp are like 15, 16%. The person can't even pull himself up. Even when you're standing behind them to push them, you can't make that. These things must be changed. You can't have a country, a Republic of Liberia, and you have those kinds of situations. What the people who crossing the street, the line they're crossing the street, I don't know what are the potter from Grand Gita they use to ping those people, because when it rains, it goes away. We can't do those things. These are the reason why President Mbaka is saying we're going to change things. And the young people, as Thomas correctly stated, the young people that are involved, they themselves must take the hand and say, President Mbaka, thank you, but we will do it from here. The roundabout that you're riding in Monroe over there right now, if you look at it, roundabout has about 32 conflicting points. Anytime you see an accident in a roundabout, it's where the conflicts happen. Those things, the community, the utilization, those who are going to utilize those facilities must be told. They cannot come on and think, say, okay, this is free. So we'll be back here again tomorrow, do what we do best. This is our country. The fact that we are not in Liberia does not mean that we cannot contribute. I, Samson Toh here, a contributor in designing some roads in Liberia free of charge, because that's one thing I do. I don't want, not that I'm rich, but I don't want to get paid. I want to do it. So at least when I get to Monroe, when I start, that I'm working, that I'm any work there. Those kinds of stuff bring pride to some of us. And we really, really love to do that. So whatever opportunity is there for us to help, we will help. But thank you for the show. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you very much. We will help. But thank you for the show. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Folks, every good thing must come to an end. And I want to say in the voice of His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakite, whatever we do, we should think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. So I want to say thanks to our panelists, to our viewers on radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies as well around the country. On behalf of the team, I want to say, see you tomorrow when we see you. Anytime tomorrow when we see you, the same dial, the same radio station, the same hour. On behalf of the team, see you tomorrow.
The Department of New Media and Rebranding of the Liberia Broadcasting System presents Nightline Liberia. From the valleys of Liberia to the top of Wologisi Mountain, Nimba, Grand Cape Mount, River G, to the coast of Sino, Bassa, Bong, Riverses, Maryland, Margibi, Grand Cru, Bapolu, Grand Jide, and Monserrado. We present to you Nightline Liberia, a primetime talk show loaded with factual news, fresh information, not fiction. Nightline Liberia. We set the tune. We control the airwaves. We are the nation's pride, the biggest platform. Our panelists are some of Liberia's brightest and best political analysts from diverse backgrounds, like Vandela Patrick, Dr. Lester Zumatic Tene, Al Hussein Fadiga, Samson Brown Toh, Daniel Sando, and Eugene Lamin Fangon. Nightline Liberia begins at 8 p.m. with 60 minutes around the country, bringing you updates from LBS correspondents. Nightline Liberia's final segment kicks off with its panelists and pundits from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. as they propound on trending national issues. Nightline Liberia. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
When we work together, there's nothing we cannot overcome as a people. This is why I ask all of you, representative of our people, to join me to do the business of the Liberian people by not doing business as usual. I challenge you to join me to think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia.
It's Nightline Liberia every Monday to Friday beginning at 8 p.m. on ELBC Radio, 99.9 FM, and other frequencies around the country.